Over in the other corner of the home studio is my DCS rig. DCS, of course, stands for Digital Combat Simulator, a digital system that allows virtual aviators to operate a wide range of military aircraft in a serious, hyper-realistic environment. As the name implies, DCS is not a game, it's a simulator. And that's always been the appeal for me. With the assistance of Thrustmaster, Eagle Dynamics, and my DCS team, my rig is now fully mission capable. And flying it comes as close as a home system can to being as rewarding and exhilarating as the real thing. Getting started is easy. Go up www.digitalcombatsimulator.com, click on support, and then technical questions, and you'll find clear explanations on how to download DCS, system requirements, and any other answers you might need. There are a lot of options with how you build your DCS rig. I went with the Volair Sim Pit, which gave me an immersive experience without being something that was too over the top. This was easy to put together, took me a couple hours, didn't break the bank, and when I'm sitting in it, I really feel like I'm in a jet. So just like any computer system, the brains are housed in this box. It's bigger than a normal home computer, I'll tell you that. It's got a lot more fans in it as well. My rig has got Windows 11 Pro as the operating system, 32 gigs of RAM. DCS World tells you need at least 16, but if you're going to upgrade to VR or whatever, more RAM's generally better. So I've got 32 gigs, 1 terabyte SSD. Other things you'll learn about if you've never done anything with a computer besides surf the web and write emails are variables like the motherboard, a CPU, the power supply, a graphics card. In fact, look right here. This is the original graphics card that was in the computer when it arrived, and it wasn't working. So we wound up putting another one in it, a more powerful one. So as you can see here, this is a GeForce GTX. Now in the computer is a GeForce RTX 2080. You don't want to skimp on the graphics card, and the one that's in the computer now can do VR in the event that I want to do that in the future. So there are a number of little details that came up as we were making this rig work. Again, all I've ever used a computer for is work applications and some video production. I've never done high-end simulation or gaming. This rig has a lot of USB ports. You can see them all over. So I had just plugged all these peripherals into every available port, not unlike plugging every plug you can into a power strip, regardless of whatever the amperage is. And as we booted it up, some of the components weren't working. So maybe the rudders and the stick would work, but the throttles wouldn't work, or vice versa. My man Tricker said, hey, I think we need a powered USB port. So I got one. This one I got at Best Buy. It's just their standard Insignia brand. And this solved the problem. Powered USB port. You can see I'm running 4 of the components into the powered USB port, which relieves the burden on the power supply. Again, something I was unaware of. Another thing to note is the gray Ethernet cable going straight into the computer, not using Wi-Fi for internet because of the bandwidth demands when you're streaming and flying in the virtual environment with other people. You need a keyboard and a mouse. I got these HyperX components. You can see it has those cool colors. And I got a HyperX headset with a boom mic. So there are basically 2 options with the visuals around DCS. One is VR, and the other is TrackIR. The advice I got was that the VR environment was immersive, but the resolution wasn't great. In fact, I've done VR. My friend Virus, who you guys have seen on the channel before, has a VR rig, which was really cool, but the resolution of the images wasn't awesome. So my recommendation, and what I'm doing, is TrackIR. And at that point, you have to decide, what do you want in terms of monitors? I went with the Samsung Odyssey G9 curved monitor, 49 inches. It's a behemoth, great piece of gear, and I'm pretty happy with it. The other thing that's cool is it mounts, as you can see, on this Volair Sim Pit, no problem. So as you're seated here, you really do feel like you're in the cockpit. This is the natural point TrackIR rig. And to get it tailored, I also recommend you watch Jabber's tutorial on YouTube. It's really good. Because what you want to do is make it so when you move your head to either end of whatever size monitor you have, that's 180 degrees. So to check 6, you don't look all the way behind you. You just look to the edge of your screen. And it's a little bit confusing at first, but you quickly adapt. So if you're flying formation, or you're looking down your wing line, or you're checking 6, or also looking up or down, it's pretty intuitive once you get used to it. And like I've also said, the resolution with TrackIR in DCS is orders of magnitude better than it currently is in VR. I hear it's going to be better. And once it is, then I'll try VR. But right now I'm very happy with TrackIR. I can do everything, whether it's dogfighting, flying around the boat, flying form, hitting the tanker. It's all there. All right, let's go through the flight controls. My throttle quadrant is the Thrustmaster HOTAS Warthog, as the name implies. It's a A10 throttle quadrant, but it is really tailorable. It's got everything you need to bind it accurately as an F-14 throttle quadrant or an F-18 throttle quadrant. So this is a good piece of gear that I highly recommend. This is the Virpil F-14 stick that was given to me by RG at BVR Productions. And as I'm learning DCS, I chose the Tomcat because I have a lot of experience in the Tomcat. So when it comes to binding, meaning assigning a function to a flight control between the hardware and software, I know what I want it to do. There are things about the F-14 stick that are unique to the F-14, obviously. And I'm glad I have this stick to simulate it. Direct lift control, nose gear steering, weapon select, including toggling between Sparrow and Phoenix, trim, bomb button, trigger for firing weapons. This is a cool piece of gear. And again, as I'm getting smart on DCS, this has allowed me to jumpstart flying because I'm already familiar with this. So Thrustmaster also provided me with a couple other sticks. This is the Hornet stick, F-18C stick. Exactly accurate. And this is the A10 stick. So I've done some free flight with the Hornet. I don't know that airplane yet. And once I get fully up to speed on the Tomcat, I'll start flying the Hornet too. Thrustmaster provided the Thrustmaster TPR pendulum rudder pedals, which I love. I'm going to go ahead and say if you're flying the F-14, these are the rudder pedals you got to get. They're accurate. They have toe brakes. They're almost life size. And the F-14, especially if you're doing high angles of attack, dogfighting 1v1 stuff, you're going to be booting the rudders and driving around the flight deck too with nose gear steering engaged. This is a great system to have. So go ahead and make the investment and get the Thrustmaster TPR pendulum rudder pedals. They are great. One little gotcha to note with the Volair Sim Pit and these rudder pedals, which again I recommend highly, especially if you're going to fly the Tomcat, is they're not going to fit in the Sim Pit out of the box. The rudder pedals will hit the frame where the mounting holes are. So it's an easy fix. Just added a little piece of wood that raised it about 1/2 inch, and now it clears just fine. So there's a quick look at what you need to get going in DCS. If you've been thinking about it, hopefully I gave you some information that will get you moving. I'd like to thank Thrustmaster and Eagle Dynamics, as well as my team of RG at BVR Productions and my flight instructor, TrackIR. And who knows, maybe we'll be flying a mission together in the near future.